हाय एवरीवन। आज हम करेंगे पी वाई क्यू एनालिसिस। अगर आप मुझे चाहते हैं दैट आई शुड मेक मोर वीडियो लाइक दिस ऑन पी वाई क्यूज, सो मेक श्योर यू लाइक द वीडियो सो आई कैन नो दैट you really want me to make more video on it, and do subscribe and share with the other people who really needs to know this stuff. Okay, so without any further delay, start the video. So the first question is, in which of these prisons is Defoe's character Maul Flanders born? Your options are Gatehouse, King's Bench, Newgate, and Ludgate. I hope you know the answer. If you don't, so here it is. Maul Flanders was born in the Newgate prison. Right, so Maul Flanders is one of the novel by Daniel Defoe, and it is also the character in it. So her mother was imprisoned, right, for stealing clothes, and she spent the early years of her life in a house run by a woman. They used to address her as a nurse, right? So now you know the answer. It's C, Newgate, right? So let's move on further. Next question है, the Indian Queen you have must heard about it. This is one of the work. ये एक work है आपका neoclassic age का, right? Which falls between the 1600 to 1700, right? So here are the options. Heroic tragedy in rhymed couplet by John Dryden, a long poem in free verse by Keki Daruwala, an autobiography of an Indian princess in exile, a fictional account of the life of Maharani Gayatri Devi. Right? If you know the answer, that's great. If you don't know, so here it is. The Indian Queen is a heroic tragedy in rhymed couplets by John Dryden. Right? So there are two lines which sounds like A A B B C C, like rhymed couplets. Tip, sip, right? And it really takes effort, but John Dryden was really skilled at this thing. Dryden wrote it in collaboration with his brother-in-law Sir Robert Howard. Okay, so right answer is a heroic tragedy in rhymed couplet by John Dryden. Is in J.M. Coetzee Disgrace, David Lurie is working as an opera on the life of one of the romantic poets. Who are the poets? What's the name of the poet on whose life he is writing this opera, or he is working on the opera, right? Who's the poet? It's Lord Byron, right? So he's working on the life of Lord Byron. In James Coetzee Disgrace, Coetzee is a South African novelist. He won the Nobel Prize in 2003. So Disgrace is a very important novel, right? His daughter, I think she was a lesbian, right? And he had a relationship with his own student because of what the David Lurie was restricted from his college, right, where he used to teach. So this is a really important novel from your exam point of view. So make sure you read it. And now you know the answer is C, right? So now fourth question: which of the following landscapes of England figures prominently in the poetry of Daddy Hughes? Which of the following landscapes of England figures prominently in the poetry of Daddy Hughes? Cornish Cliffs, Dorset Moors, Yorkshire Moors, Chesil Beach. And your right answer is Yorkshire Moors, right? Figure prominently in the poetry of Daddy Hughes. Hughes was an English author and poet. He was the poet laureate, right? And he was succeeded by John Badzeman in 1984. Most of his poems are about violent forces of nature. Some of his poetry collections are River, Tales from Ovid, Flower, and Insectscape Birds, among others. He was the husband of Sylvia Plath, right? They were in it was not a good relationship, We got to know about all these things through their confessional poetry, right? Ariels, written by her, Sylvia Plath, right? And his really famous poems like Hoxamu, Crow. Okay, so you make sure you pay attention towards that too. It's really, look, the syllabus is really vast, but the best approach that I can share with you is that you go through the previous year's question papers. Now I don't know that why don't students understand this. They are if you have a very short period of time, and if I'm sharing with you something really important thing, that it will take you years and years to find out that how to cover this whole thing in a short period of time, and how to get a really good marks in it. I'm telling you, all the concepts which are till this date are discussed in the previous year's question papers. Just go through them now, right? But no, you just want to be confused. Which book? Which book? Don't run after books. You want to read books, you read your books. Once you get your net, you do your PhD during this period. As many as books you want to read, you read. But this time, don't be a fool. Just running after books. No, I want to be that literature student who knows a lot, this and that. Have a strategy, and I'm sharing a smart plan with you, right? So just stick to that, and make sure you like the video, subscribe the channel, and share it with other people so they can also have the benefit of it, right? Because they need to know the right information, and you can do the job. So please do that. And if you want to have the notes for your UGC Net English Literature, you confused, you don't know how to do it, and so you can just mail me below in the comment section on myprofessorsnote@gmail.com. I'll be providing you the notes for me, UGC Net English Literature, short, clear, crisp. Okay, let's move further. Which among the following gave the expression "a leopard can't change its spot" to English language? Options are the King James Bible, Geoffrey Chaucer, Shakespeare, the Royal Society. And the right answer is "a leopard can't change its spot" was translated to English language in the King James Bible. It talks about evil people and their inability to do good. I think it was published somewhere, it was written somewhere 1611, right? Please let me know about the dates in the comment section below, right? And when was Royal Society formed? Write that down too in the comment section. Is Mercy and Greatheart, right? They are the names of Christiana's companion and guide, respectively. Christiana is the wife of Christian and the protagonist of the first part of Pilgrim's Progress. Pilgrim's Progress is an allegory written by English writer John Bunyan. What is allegory? So, allegory is something you try to show, or you try to put a picture with the symbols, right? You give these symbols to the people, right? As he did here, like a mercy, patience, great heart. He has given names to the things, because if you want to show a virtue, the same thing which Spencer did, what he did, he shows this knight there. What was the virtue of knight? It was holiness. So through his character, he tried to show that what that holiness is. In allegory, the same thing is here. What is happening here? They have given name to the characters, like ignorance, to tell you what that thing means, right? So they give those symbol to the human entities. So the way they behave, it shows that is the ignorance. For example, you want to show anger, so you will point your finger on a person who is really angry, and you give him name. That's anger. This is what allegory is. You try to give symbols to make things understand. I hope it's clear. If it's not clear, I'll let you know. And you also mention its dates in the comment section. As I told you, it will be very easy for you when we do such a task. We remember those things for a longer period of time, right? So you can remember that once I write down this thing in the comment section, now I know the dates. So the seventh one is, in which play by Eugene Ionesco do you find the grotesque image of the leg of a corpse thrusting into the stage, and which begins to grow larger as the play progresses in a menacing manner. Your options are The Bald Soprano, Amede or How to Get Rid of It, Exit the King, D. The Lesson. And the right answer is Amede or How to Get Rid of It. So there appears a grotesque image of the leg of a corpse thrusting onto the stage, and which begins to grow larger as the play progresses in a menacing manner. Right? It is a play in the French language by French playwright Eugene Ionesco. So in 1954, this is being performed, written in the French language. It follows the story of Amede and his wife, the Madeline, and their efforts to get rid of the corpse in other room. The eighth question is, which of the following characters finds that complete happiness is elusive and that while you are making the choice of life, you neglect to live? I think that's what we do. Most of the time, we're just thinking that how we want to make a living or how we want our life to happen to us, but we don't see the way it is happening right now. And I think this is a problem with us, that we haven't learned to live in the moment, right? Because we feel like whatever we have, this is not enough, it does not make us complete. We need to learn this showing gratitude. Every single day you wake up, you have to say thank. Whether you believe in God or in nature or in any kind of energy you believe in, you have to show the gratitude for everything, whatever you have. Joy, suffering does not matter. Stay alive, right? So who says this, and in which of the novel? First option is Lovelace in Samuel Richardson's Clarissa, Rasselas in Samuel Johnson's Rasselas, Matthew Bramble in Tobias Smollett's Humphrey Clinker, Harley in Henry Mackenzie's The Man of Feeling. And the answer is Rasselas in Samuel Johnson's Rasselas. Rasella is a character here. He says this line in Samuel Johnson's book, Rasselas. And it is being said that he wrote this book for the funeral, right? Because he didn't have money. So he wrote this book on that occasion of his mother. It was his mother's funeral, and he didn't have money for that. So he wrote this book and made money out of it. Here he finds that complete happiness is elusive and that while you are making the choice of life, you neglect to live. Samuel Johnson's Rasselas is an epilogue where the titular character attempts to learn how to live by visiting people engaged in various professions. The full title is The History of Rasselas, Prince of Abyssinia. Life is right now, you are living it now. Right? So just learn to enjoy that. This is the all. This is what Samuel Johnson tried to tell you. He was a very practical man. I would say that. Right? And maybe aggressive because of his financial circumstances. Whatever it was, but whatever he said, that's the real truth here. So your options are Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, The Player, and Hamlet. As I have already shown you here, the answer, it's Guildenstern. So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern is a really, really important play. Why? This is the time when postmodernism was at its peak. Do you see, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are two minor characters of the play, but here they are shown as the major characters. Right? This concept came in during this era of theories, when these theories start to came into existence, and mainly in this after the modernism, this concept of of this concept of marginalization, the characters who are being marginalized, they also play a most important role, right? As we see in the feminism, the women are marginalized in the society. They are not given that credit, right? They are not given that freedom to do things. So the similar way, these playwrights see these characters and they are trying to bring them to the bigger picture. Okay, so Guildenstern is the answer, He makes this statement that no one gets up after death. There is no applause. There is only silence and some second-hand clothes, and that's death. And this is a reality, my friend. As long as you live, live to the fullest. Tom Stopper's play Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead is an absurdist tragic comedy which was first performed in 1966, right? So it was also directed as a film by the same name, and I think he has written a screenplay for one movie, Shakespeare in Love. I hope you have watched that movie. That's a really good movie. And now here comes the last question of the video. Is which Victorian poet is the author of the following lines? God himself is the best poet, and the real is his song. If we want to know the creativity for somebody, how will we know that? For example, if you see a person in the streets, how do you know that how creative he is or how great he is? Right? The way he appears, the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he dresses up, like each and every single thing, the way his expressions are. So how can we know that how creative is God? A small thing, look at the ant, how he has designed ant, eyes, everything, legs, head, face, mouth, teeth inside, every single what a great detailing, what a designer he is. You look at the sky, you look at the tree, its leaves, its skin, fruits, flower, the design is great, my friend. I mean, like, you world is a really great thing to explore, and all these things this literature try to bring out through these lines. There's a lot in the mind of poet, right? There's a lot to explore, and if you dive into it, you're not gonna come out of it, right? And your options are Lord Tennyson, who said these lines: God himself is the best poet and the real is his song. Lord Tennyson, Robert Browning, Matthew Arnold, or Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And the answer is Elizabeth Barrett Browning is the poet who wrote the lines: God himself is the best poet and the real is his song. She was a Victorian poet. Aurora Leigh is among the her most well-known poems. It was published in 1856. Some of her poems were posthumously published by her husband, poet Robert Browning. Again, most important Victorian era poet, right? Most of he was just a philosopher, like according to me, like whatever he was trying to draw through his poems. And I don't think so that today they are given that much importance, these poets, because there was a more of a philosophy in life. They were like they were I mean, more of a philosophers, right? And there was this a term coined by the T.S. Eliot. They they fell into that category. What was that? That was about something, sensibility, unification of sensibility. Like whatever they write, they don't feel it actually, right? So that was a concept of that kind. So this is what we did in this video. I hope you are liking this series of analysis of these PYQs and most expected questions. If you're liking it, so make sure you like, you subscribe, you share with the people and friends out there, so we can reach the more people, so we can help more, right? This is the one thing that you can do at least. So till then time, my Professor Note signing off. You study.